We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic Tuesday where your dressed down host, CEO Tyrone Glover, is coming to you live from my hometown of Yonkers, New York, where I do what I get to do best, what I like to do, which is talk to you about how to improve your financial situation. Welcome to the show, everyone. Leverage Your Score, which is on Soul City Network, and we are out there on a variety of different other stations and channels. This is one of the best opportunities that I have to say, besides being a teacher, besides being a business owner, besides being a nonprofit director, executive director, besides being a great uncle, besides being a wonderful human being. First and foremost, I'm a God-loving individual who really sincerely cares about his community, cares about his state, cares about his country, and all of his fellow citizens equally. I am a veteran who has shared and took that oath, understands the responsibility of what comes with that. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for making time. This is what this is all about, folks. It's about making time, coming out, getting out of that comfort zone, and joining in a conversation in a space where we get to do what we do best, which is help. We want to help you. We know that times are challenging out there. We know that it is rather difficult. And what we want to do is we want to equip you with the tools. We want to equip you with the skills. We want to equip you with the knowledge so that you can start putting some of that back into your own pockets. What I mean by putting some of that back in your own pockets, I mean your resources. You've been given those resources to far too many entities, far too many companies, far too many understandings, and you really haven't seen a return on that investment. All right. So I know we've talked about a lot of things, and we're going to continue to keep talking about even more things as time goes on. So what we're going to do today is we're going to finish up part 2 of the boot camp that we started last week. So I hope that if you didn't, I'm going to go over a couple of pieces of it really quick, and then we're going to continue where we left off, which was at age 45. So we touched on the young people, the middle-aged people, those the groups that were in the middle, and we're going to be now addressing some of those in that age group where I am. You see this gray in my face, all these wisdom streaks? Well, yes, we're going to be talking about how do you make sure that you're doing the right things in your financial recovery. This is a financial recovery, folks. And we're going to be continuously making sure that you're okay. So we're going to own your freedom, financial freedom boot camp. That's what this is. You're owning your future, and this is the financial freedom boot camp. And the things that we're going to be addressing today, again, everyone should need to know. Everyone. We're talking about our young ones. We're talking about our older ones. We're talking about every single person out there needs to know these things about how their finances should look and in which direction should they be going with their finances. It's, as I said, it's scary out there. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, how can I get out of some of these situations? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to help you with that. All right. So as I said, we're going to address what we talked about just briefly last week, and then we're going to move on to that next part 2, which is around that age of 45. So real quick. All right. So we were building generational wealth, stability for 7 through forever. Talking about 7-year-olds through forever. If you think about it, people should have started learning about money management skills at the age of 7. And where do you think you would start getting that money management skill understanding? Yes, exactly. You would start getting it from home, where the moms, the dads, the caregivers, the loved ones, the individuals who should have already started making sure that you had that knowledge. And if you didn't, we're not going to fault them. We're not going to blame them. We're not going to say, oh, they're bad parents. They didn't do what they needed to do. No, our parents are good people. They're wonderful people. They do what they can do with what they have. And our job is to make sure that we now, the community, it's going to take a community to raise not just a child, but it's going to take a community to raise smart, wise, savvy, financially stable individuals. All right. So with that being said, so we want to welcome you why you are here today, what you will learn, and how this will change your life. So we want to welcome everybody. You're about to embark on a life-changing journey. Today is not just about a workshop. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one where you take full control of your financial future, because money matters. Ownership matters. Your future matters. So let's start. All right. Today, you'll learn the basics of money, credit, investing, budgeting, and generational wealth building in a way that is easy to understand and easy to apply. We'll break these down by age groups because building wealth is a lifetime journey, no matter your starting point. The most important thing is you got to begin, and here's where you begin. All right, there's a great video here, and I'm going to address it, and it's called Why Financial Literacy Education in U.S. Sucks. It's bad. It is really bad, and we have to get better, especially in marginalized communities. This is from the they have a magazine, and they also have a, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're on one of the channels, and I'm not 100% sure which, but VOX is called Vox. I appreciate everything that they do because they've always helped me with realizing the things that I don't know. And it has made my life that much more impressive because I do my research, they do their research. We come together on how we can share that research. And I'm not promoting them by no means. I'm just saying it is a great resource, just like CFPB is a great resource. We have a lot of great resources out there. And it's our job to connect with those resources so that we can do the things that we need to be doing. All right, so real quick, the problems we face, financial illiteracy stats. Only 24% of young adults have basic financial literacy skills. Come on now, people. That's not going to work. That is not going to work. Racial wealth gap numbers. Black and Latinx families still own less than 20% of the median wealth of white families. Not going to work in 2025. It's just not going to work. Over half Americans cannot afford a $400 emergency. This is not going to work. So real world consequences, the system has failed us, but we're not going to let that stop us. Think about that. System may have failed you, but we're not going to let it continue to fail you because we have the knowledge, we have the skills, we have the wherefore, we have the diligence to navigate these spaces and also equally change the narrative. That's super important. Changing the narrative, making sure that you know what others might be saying about you, because they're not talking to us. They're talking for us. They're talking about us. They're talking at us, but they're not talking with us to see what really we need to move the needle even further when it comes to our financial literacy. So we're going to take the lead on that. All right. We're going to take the lead. Why financial literacy matters is personal empowerment. It's family stability. It's community strength, national economic power. Financial literacy isn't just about money. It's about power. Those who have that power, don't you see that they equally have that money? All right. But we're talking about how do we make you into the CEO of your household, where you start generating a profit and then you start focusing on that money. We're going to have that conversation as well. It's about choice. It's about freedom. When you master money, you master your destiny. Financially strong families build strong communities. Strong communities build strong nations. Let's say that together. Financially strong families build strong communities. Strong communities build strong nations. We are a strong nation, but it's not because that we have built strong communities. We're strong because the rest of the world fears us because of how strong our military is. You're talking to a vet. So I'm someone who understands the importance of having a robust, strong military force to do what it needs to do. But we also equally we need a strong, robust community and strong families to continue the legacies of what we've already been given. And if you think about Black Wall Street, which some of you may or may not know about it, but I would suggest that you go back to those history books and look that up really quick, because Black Wall Street is an amazing story that needs to be shared, not just with this ethnic group, but with all ethnic groups, because I'm almost certain that they probably have some success stories that in their range and space as well. So by the end of the boot camp, you will understand how money works. My good dear friend, Dr. Yana B of Access Wealth Nation, Anaj Enterprise. She has her show equally on the same station at 6 o'clock on Thursday. I got that how money works concepts from her. She is a brilliant mind, someone who has been my mentor, a leader in this race that we're in. And she's been doing amazing jobs. One of the first Black women on Wall Street. So again, she has a wealth of knowledge, and I'm just a little stone in her big ocean. But I'm so glad and proud to be part of her space. And I say it's a wonderful thing to be part of those who understand the money matters movement and is doing everything that they possibly can. So again, please tune into her show, Access Wealth Nation, at 6 o'clock on Thursdays. Again, gems, nothing but gems. If you missed last week's show, I would strongly suggest going back and looking at her last week's show, because the young lady she had on there last week, amazing. So also, we're going to build skills to manage, invest, and multiply your wealth. That's what's important. Building skills. How many of you watched the basketball game last night? New York Knicks and Boston. Okay. They were down, some came back. All of that back and forth, whether it be basketball, baseball, football, soccer, any sports, those are skills. Those individuals have to work out. They have to practice. They have to get so buff. They have to work so diligently to get those skills, to be at that elite status, that elite level. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm introducing something to you that you need. You need to be smarter, wiser, savvier when it comes to your money skills and how to manage it more successfully. So we're going to help you grow. We're going to create a plan for financial success, and we're going to inspire others to do the same. This is how you build communities of financially stable, financially secure, financially independent individuals that will bring that knowledge to their communities. And the communities that I'm more or less referring to is inside that household first, inside your circle of friends. Not just holding on to this information like it's mine, but no, also bringing it out there and making sure that your kids. I don't have any kids, but I have a bunch of nephews and nieces, and it's so funny because the community calls me Uncle Tyrone, so I'm the community's uncle, and I'm always doing for. But 2025 has shown me that it's not about doing for any longer. It's about making sure that they have the abilities to do for self. So I'm pulling back some of those reins on giving. And I'm now going to be giving more knowledge and more understanding with being on the sidelines to guide along the way as these players get out there and navigate that space. But if you want to be on that elite team, you're going to have to step out of your own way and start applying some of these principles. All right, so we talked about last week, 7 to 14. 7 to 14. Why are your 7 to 14-year-olds not already engaged in some form of financial stability? Money basics. All right? Money basics. Let's create some fun cartoon images and infographics. You can do this all in your home. I'll also create activities. Where does money come from? These are the things that you can already start doing with your 7 to 14-year-olds. Let's start with the youngest future millionaires. Teaching kids about money early gives them a huge head start. I tell all of my students, I have about 121, I think it might be a little bit, about 118. But I have 118 students, and I tell them all, you have one leg up over the entire school. You have one leg up over the entire school because you are with someone who comes from that space, that corporate America space, that comes from that space where you are eventually going to end up, whether it be corporate America, whether it be the military, whether it be improving your academia, whether it be becoming an entrepreneur, whether it be being an athlete. There are a lot of spaces that I have already been in, but guess what I didn't do? I didn't know how to manage that money while I was in those spaces. And I didn't get that understanding until way later. But guess what? I got it. And not only did I get it, I continued to keep building upon it. So this is for all of you out there, but I want you to start introducing these things to your young ones, those ones who can start soaking in all of that knowledge, that information. And if you give it to them now, trust me when I tell you, it becomes behaviors. They start to undo what we have been doing. All right, so savings and spending. These are some great initiatives that you can already start. Building budget games, creating piggy bank exercises. So for our 7 to 14-year-olds, there are things that you can do. I'm going to maneuver through this because I want to get to the area where we left off last week, which, as I said, is that with our 45-year-olds. But these are some of the basic things that you need to start learning and understanding. What's the difference between a bank and a credit union? Why savings matters. Now, there's a big understanding between that savings. So really be careful when you're thinking about savings, all right? Be careful. Let your money work for you. Don't you work for your money. And if you're not getting the return on that investment that you should, what should you do? Yes, you should, again, negotiate. That's what businesses do. That's what CEOs do. And if I didn't say it earlier, you are the CEO of your household. And if you are not making a profit or you don't see a return on your investment, that means you have to readjust, course correct, or that household is going to find itself in a very troubling time. And we don't need that now going on with the individual that is occupying that space. All right. So you really got to think a little bit more strategic about how you're going to manage that space. So we're going to move to the 15 to 21-year-olds. All right. 15 to 21, building independency. So now you are out of that space where mom and dad and caregivers and loved ones had to help you navigate your understanding of birthday money or of holiday money and things of that nature, putting it in a safe and understanding space so that it could grow. Now you're 15 and mom and dad and caregiver loved ones, they're leaving you now out there so that you can navigate that space for yourself. So they're giving you a bit of freedom and saying, okay, go ahead, but we're still going to be keeping a close eye out because we know that you don't have or possess all those skills. So independent understanding is going to come with being knowledgeable about credit and how that works. Credit is your financial reputation. All right. It's how lenders, landlords, and even employers judge your reliability. Key tips. A credit score is like your GPA of money. If you're doing great with it, you're going to have even more of it. And it's going to give you the opportunities to do things that you probably would not be able to do if you had a low credit score. Same thing if you have a low GPA. It limits your opportunities. Always pay your bills on time. That's the biggest part of your credit 5 factors. And one of those factors is paying on time. That is 35% of your overall credit score. And the other part is making sure you're bringing down your utilization. Utilization means how much did I use of what do I have? So you start at 0 and then you have a ceiling. But if you use all of that, that means at some point you got to bring that down. And there is a mathematical understanding that I like to share with individuals. But due to time constraints, I want you to come back and get that information on another show. All right. But there are 5 factors that you should be focusing on to maintain a positive credit understanding. Keep balances low. That's that utilization that I was referring to. And only borrow what you can repay. All right. So everybody, 15 to 21, you need to have a checking account or a savings account or both. Okay, checking account or savings account. Stop taking your checks or getting your checks from your employer and taking them to that third level of how we engage in the financial space. And that is these check cashing places. These check cashing places, again, I'm not demeaning them. I'm not putting them down. I'm not saying that they're horrible or whatever. It is still a means to engage in the financial space, but it's more losses there for you and more gains there for them. So you really have to be, again, a bit more strategic in knowing how. Soon you're going to be taking on student loan debts. I talked to all of my classes today, and I was more or less pointing out that in the next 3 years, the majority of them are going to be voting. And they're going to be voting on better roads, better schools, better opportunities. They're going to be those individuals who are now basically saying, okay, wait a minute. I saw what I saw as I was growing up. Do I want to be in those same circumstances and situations? So you're going to now be thinking about that student loan and how much debt can you take on? Or mom and dad are going to have to step in, caregiver loved one are going to have to step in and help carry some of that burden for you. But debt can build or it can bury you. And I'm all about building it for you, all right? Building it, not burying you. You're going to need these opportunities, student loans, and you're going to also need debt. There's good debt, which is a home, which is assets that grow in value. And then there's bad debt, which is overextending your credit card, which is also not properly managing your overall expenses in that household, taking care of household first, but rewarding yourself first as well. Now, I know that seems like a contradiction, but it's not. Reward yourself when you get paid. Don't go and reward yourself with 75% of your income, but buy a nice cup of coffee. Sit down and buy a nice book. Do something for yourself that so yourself can say, hey, you know what, self, I appreciate you too. And by doing that, you're going to stick to your plan, because Dr. Yana B has said it, and I'm going to use it. If you don't have a plan to succeed, you have a plan to fail. So again, you're going to be applying for scholarships and grants. Scholarships are scholarships are given. And if you do good with that GPA, again, scholarship is, here you go. Going on to school. Grants, same thing. Or you're going to be taking on loans. And those loans may come with a hefty cost, as some of you may already know. And we know that the last administration was attempting to help individuals with removing those loans, which is a good thing. It's good for the economy. It's good for the individual. The one piece that I think that last administration may have missed out on, which is getting that negative information off individuals' credit report. But now you have this new administration that is coming in and saying, hey, you know what? Nope, what that man did was unconstitutional, or at least the Supreme Court has said the first manner in which he was going to go about it might have been unconstitutional, but he took another step, which was, in my opinion, the right thing to do. But removing that now is the wrong thing to do. You should be building upon giving individuals now the opportunities who took on these student loans that should have stayed at a 3.25 interest rate, but got ballooned because it was put into the hand of the private sector. And now you got an individual who took out $100,000, and now they're probably somewhere up to $200,000 or $300,000. That's not how that was supposed to work. I'm so sorry. So remember, borrow smart, not just fast. All right. So here we are with the 22 to 35-year-olds. This is now you're building wealth. So you had the opportunity to start, get that great knowledge. You got into a space where you're like, now, okay, wait a minute. Now I'm good at the basics. Now I got to start advancing myself with understanding credit, understanding loans, understanding all of the responsibilities that come with now being almost an adult. You're not quite the adult yet. Here is where you start stepping into that adult space. Now, as an adult, you want to start building wealth. And what do we do, and how do we get into that building wealth? Well, we have to know the day trading responsibilities of how that works. Stocks are about trading, all right? Whether you call it day trading, whether you call it trading, whatever it is that you want to call it. The 101 is you got to be in it. That's just the bottom line. Either you're in it, giving someone that resources, and they're keeping the majority of your returns, or you're doing it for yourself, and you get to see how much return comes back. You don't get to see what your 401k does truly. You just get to see the bottom line. You don't get to see what your Roth IRA or your 304B or all of your investment vehicles do. You just get to see the bottom line. You need to be able to really see how that is going and how that is working. And once you do, I'm telling you, folks, it's going to change everything that you ever thought about how money works. So day trading is buying and selling stocks or options within the same day. Start small, use stop loss orders, and limit risk. And when you're limiting risk, what we are talking about is don't be so risk averse. Don't do things that under normal circumstances, it's like, ooh, I can't. No, get out there, live dangerously, because you do it anyway. But you don't think about the risk, the unknown risk. Like, for instance, again, when you get up in the morning, you don't think about going in that bathroom and slipping and falling and hitting your head on that commode or on that tub. When you leave the house, you don't think about walking down those stairs and falling down. Or when you get in that car, or when we get into multiple vehicles where we're not driving. We're not in control of the train. We're not in control of the bus. We're not in control of Lyft, Uber, or taxis. But we entrust these individuals to get us to where we need to go. That type of risk we don't even think about. But when it comes to our money, come on now, people. We got to be smarter. All right. Never risk what you can't afford to lose. So that's another smart thing. Start small and build your way to wealth. All right. Learning to trade smartly can build serious wealth, but discipline is key. Discipline. If you're going through it with your spouse or your mate or your wife or whatever it may be, going through it with your kids, going through it with the dog, the neighbor, the cat, it doesn't matter. You're going through it. You should not be trading. You should be sitting back, waiting for that peace of mind so that you can enter into that space more with the understanding of, why am I doing this? And you can start with something as low as $50. All right, so budgeting for success, understanding the 50-30-20 rule, needs, wants, savings. Budgeting is freedom. So think about that. Budgeting is freedom, not restrictions. Following the 50-30-20 rule, 50% of needs, 30% of wants, 20% savings and investing. And you can also, as those wants come back into a really good understanding, you could probably drop those wants to about 15 and add another 15% to that savings and investing. You got to think more strategically, folks. You got to know how to track your money, control your destiny. This is where the next phase of this comes in, where you're starting to look at, okay, do I want to be a homeowner? Do I want to continue to rent? Do I want to work for somebody? Or do I want to be an entrepreneur and work for myself? There are so many ways to make a living out here in today's world. Question is, do you have the wherewithal to go out and do it? Do you have the wherewithal to purchase a home and become a homeowner? There's a lot of additional pieces that come with that. Or are you someone who would rather just rent and make sure that you have a great landlord, creating a great synergy understanding with those individuals that you're going to be renting from or renting to? This goes for landlords as well. Landlords, you need to be creating pathways for success, not just for you, but also for your tenants. And you need to start, and I'm encouraging all states to now make this a process. And I'm going to be talking to Governor Holcomb in not a little bit here, but I am now not the economic advisor, excuse me, not economic advisor, my apologies, but the economic chair for the NAACP. I've now transferred that position over to now becoming the youth advocate chair. So I'm excited about being able to do some things for our youth, and I'm looking forward to tapping on the shoulders of all of these individuals who have put our youth to the side, thinking that they're not as equally as important. I, as an individual who have learned from the youth by being in their presence for the last 10 years, they got something to say, folks. Not only do they got something to say, they're smart, they're intelligent. They might not be able to voice it in the manner in which we have, again, given them that space, because we've really shunned them. We really told them that they don't really have a voice. They have a voice. And I'm so encouraged when I see young people who can speak in the same exact manner with that passion as I do, because that's what they want. They still want discipline. They still want the things that we grew up having. And it's our job to make sure that they're in those spaces and places to get that as well. So if you're looking at starting your first business, entrepreneurs build wealth fast if done right. All right, starting a side business with low overhead. Now, guess what is a great side business with low overhead? Day trading. Again, I'm only throwing it out there. You can have your own opinions to what you want to have your opinions to, but I'm telling you right now, what you don't know is what you don't know. And if you sat in on the session with me or some of my youth advocates or even other individuals and got a little bit of a taste and then started doing your own research, that is a skill set just like basketball, a skill set just like football, a skill set just like tennis, a skill set just like hockey, just like soccer, just like being an astronaut, just like doing anything known to man. It is a skill set. And when you get good at it, trust me, when I tell you the potential is endless. All right. So both paths equal power moves. You just got to decide which one are you going to do or do them both. All right. So we're talking now about 36 to 46-year-olds, and then we'll be right back where we left off. And that would be our 45 or 47s and then on. So what now are the things that you should be focusing on here? Well, you should be protecting yourself through insurance. All right. You've lived a little bit. You now understand that, hey, I got to make sure that I take care of if I have children, if I have other things that I want to make sure that are secured and are protected. Well, this is where that insurance piece comes in. You should have already started some form of an emergency fund, but even if you didn't, this is a great part in time because you've now navigated yourself through all of those wants, those needs. You now have budgeted yourself more effectively, more properly, and now you can start looking at, okay, you know what? $400 was my goal to save every single month. Now you raise that up to $1,000 or you raise it up to $1,500 as your income obviously improves. And these are one of those things that you have to also start thinking about. How many of you understand that you can go in there and you can negotiate your income? Negotiate. And I know we live in states where they're at-will states, and I know we live in times where we're dealing with individuals who say, well, you know what? I don't want to pay you this or can't pay you this or whatever. But you got to think about something. You are an asset to a business if you've been there long enough. You're an asset. You bring in that business, and no one should ever as a business tell you you're not worthy of an increase in your wages. We've seen all of what's going on, and I know things are now going in the opposite direction due to tariffs and due to other circumstances that might not seem so appealing, but nevertheless, you have negotiation powers and negotiation, maybe not the skills, but that's where people like myself come in to help you with being able to understand. You are an asset, and do not let anyone devalue you. You're an asset, but nevertheless, some of the notes that I had here, or insurance isn't a luxury, it's a shield. Okay, think about that. It's a shield. Better to have and not need than to need and not have. Health insurance, life insurance, home and rent insurance, liability protection. If you're a business owner, protect what you work so hard to build. Why not? And make sure, again, that you have this all documented in some space or place where someone can retrieve it should something happen to you. We've seen, or we are hearing a lot of horror stories out there about, well, it was in mom's head. It was in dad's head. It was in somebody's head. In their head is not going to do it. This needs to be documented, put on paper, and put into a safe space where others know, okay, this is where it is. And primarily, if you have a child that may be subjected to some form of a disability or require some type of medical treatment, and it's in your head, that's not going to do it. You're jeopardizing that child or that individual's life because you chose not to put it down on paper. It's really important that we start looking at how do we shield our family in the worst case scenario that something happens to those primary caregivers. It's really important to start thinking about this area here. So as you got into that 35 to 46, the 32 to 46, my apologies, this is now the time where you're starting to look at those types of protections. This is also the time where you've already been working. You've probably already participated in your retirement plans, but it's now time to start building those out. Your 401k, your IRA. They're explained simply here. Time is your best investment partner. All right. So max out your 401k, but also understand what is it doing. Okay, I've already said it a number of times. We know that the 401ks have not been living up to their true potential. The individual who came out with the 401k said that, yeah, we know that it should have done better. Your Roth IRAs, right? Your contributions that you put into other variety of stocks and investment vehicles. If they're not paying off, you need to sit down with those individuals that you've entrusted and ask them, okay, wait a minute here. I see that I get this, and you're not telling me what you get. Could you help me understand if your percentages, and this is how I think about it, I could be dead wrong, but I almost know I'm not. But I could be dead wrong, but I'm going to say it again. I almost know I'm not. Okay? If I'm making this percentage, you and the company should be somewhere in that same space. How is it that you're here and their returns are way up here, but they're using everybody else's money? Come on now. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. And if there's somebody out there who's smarter than me, wiser than me, more talented than me, join the program. I'd be more than happy to bring you in, and you can help me help others understand what you know that we don't know, so that we can all be on that same trajectory to seeing all of our wealth continue to grow. All of our opportunities continue to grow. So check your retirement readiness every year. Make sure that you are ready for the understanding of being able to retire, but not having to retire the way that you live. That was a good one. All right, so keep more of what you earn legally. Taxes. Tax season just passed, and I'm sure if you got an extension, you have until October. But if you didn't, you are now full in waiting on that return. What are you going to do with that return? Or did you have to pay? All right, so learn legal ways to keep more of what you earn. This is where you're already paying it. You've been paying it since you started working. All right, and I always tell every individuals, stop looking at your tax return as some type of a, oh, I gave them money and now they know. You shouldn't be giving them anything. You should be breaking even. That's what you really want to do. You want to break even. You don't want to give them more. I know I've been attempting. That's why I tell IRS, please come audit me, because I want to find out why in the world there was a single person pay anywhere from 48 to 52% in taxes. 52% in taxes as a single person, where a billionaire or a millionaire or 100,000-aire, they're not paying nowhere near close to that. And I'm a teacher. I'm a service member. I'm someone who did and put their hand up and did all. How is it that a single person pays that much in taxes? I don't mind paying taxes because I understand better roads, better bridges, better opportunities, better situations for the less fortunate. I have zero problem paying taxes, zero. But I want to know, why am I paying so much? And the others who are not paying so much, why are they paying so little? All right. If you have a business, maximize business deductions. Smart tax planning equals instant raises. That's another fantastic one. That is brilliant. Smart tax planning equals instant raises. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about 25 minutes or about 20 minutes in. And if you have any questions, anything that you want to pose to me, please drop that question in the variety of different places that we have available for you. All right, but we are going to continue with the show, but we want to just throw that out there because we like to make sure that we're answering and addressing questions. All right, so here's where we left off, and here's where we're going to continue, and we should be wrapping this up within that 20 minutes. So building generational wealth and stability from 7 to forever. So the section that we left off last week, we are now back at it, section 5, which is 45 plus legacy building. All right, so here's now where that next piece of life comes in: estate planning, wills and trust, 101, living wealth, not bills. Oh, excuse me. I said living, and that's leaving. My apologies. Leaving wealth, not bills. If you don't plan your estate, the state will do it for you. Okay? That's what I was saying. Remember, in your head, that's not where it needs to be. It needs to be on something that is a documented understanding that has been hit that notary button or whatever it needs to have, so that should something happen, someone can retrieve it and they can say, these were the final understandings of that person. All right, so make a will. Set up a trust if needed. Name beneficiaries on all accounts and give your family peace, not problems. All right, that's not that challenging to do. You're now at that age where these are the things that must come into play. All right, so teaching the next generation how to pass knowledge and assets forward. True wealth isn't just money. All right, think about that. True wealth isn't just money, it's knowledge. So teach your children about money early. All right, bring them into the financial conversation early. Make wealth building a family tradition. There's one of my friends who's Sharky, and I adore this young lady. Her and her husband I haven't met the husband yet, but I think yes, I did. I met him at an event. But nevertheless, what she does every single, as often as she possibly can, she has family retreats where they talk about money. And I think that's the best thing ever. Going away with your family and also talking about something that's going to strengthen and build the family's wealth. That for me is amazing. So we've mimicked some of that understanding, and we're going to be doing something over the next couple of weeks here on May 17th. We're going to be doing a pull up a chair in Getty Square. The news is already, not the news, but we are creating the news and the buzz for it. So be on the lookout on your social media platforms, on our Substack, on our social media platforms. Be on the lookout for Pull Up a Chair in Getty Square. This is going to be brought to you by our new initiative of We Got a Story to Tell. Because we do. We got a story to tell. Every single one of you out there has a story to tell about whether your financial trajectory has been a positive one, or have you been living the ebbs and flows, or is it non-existent? All right. We got a story to tell. May 17th, right here, Yonkers, New York, Getty Square. Pull up a chair and join in the conversation. But we're going to be talking to everyone. Everyone. You got a question, you got a concern, we're going to bring out some experts. Hopefully we can get them all on calendar. And we're going to be doing this throughout the summer. While they talk about politics, we're going to be talking about wealth. While they talk about while they talk about how the budget's going to be done, we're going to be budgeting ourselves. While they talk about all of the things that they are supposed to be doing for us, we're going to do those things. So I'm looking forward to that very, very, very first one, the inauguration of our Pull Up a Chair in Getty Square, May 17th, right here in Yonkers, New York. Be on the lookout for it, folks. Be on the lookout for it. All right, so now that we have made it through that piece, now we're going to be looking at section 6, which is special deep dives, all ages. All right, so all ages, accountability and money habits, journaling your spending, making sure that you're, again, it seems like budgeting, and it might be, but there's a lot of apps out there now. There's a lot of Rocket. There's a lot of, Rocket is the one that I know primarily because it's always on the TV, right? And Rocket Money, that's what it is. Rocket Money. Intuit, if I'm not mistaken, that's the one who has purchased Rocket Money. But nevertheless, it is a journal where you can manage your income, where you can manage your spending. A financial vision board, I think that was fantastic. But these things are just tools, but they're no good if you don't use them. All right. Accountability means knowing where every dollar goes. Tracking your expenses for 30 days becomes a habit. Once it becomes a habit, it becomes a pattern. Once it becomes a pattern, it becomes a behavior. So do it. Do it. Watch where your money is going, and then you'll probably see, wow, let me take a back seat. Let me pause for a second. That might be overspending. Review your financial goals monthly. Why not? You get a bill in the mail for your credit card. You get a bill in the mail for your cell phone. You get a bill in the mail for your electricity. You get a bill in the mail for your rent monthly. So you should be equally managing your monthly goals in the same manner. How much did I give out and how much can I now put to the side, or how much can I add now to other investment opportunities? And then adjust and stay consistent. The consistency piece is the most important thing. And I say the adjustment piece, which is a course correction. You have to course correct. You need to know that, oh, things aren't working out, let me sit down with somebody, or if you can figure it out on your own. Oh, I see where, because I've been budgeting, or I've been journaling, or I've been doing the things that I need to do, so I can see where I'm spending or overspending. Subscriptions. Get better with canceling those subscriptions, folks. Get better with canceling those subscriptions. Get better with renegotiating your cable bill. Get better with renegotiating your cell phone bill. Get better with these understandings, and don't fall for the gimmicks, because they're out there. Bait and switch. They use another name, and I can't think of it at this particular moment, but bait and switch is real, folks. I got bait and switched, and I'm going to throw the name of this company right on under the bus, and I'm going to roll over it. Boom, 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 rolling right over Verizon. Bait and switch. Okay, bait and switch. Stop falling for these. Get 4 phones, get 3 phones, get this, that, and the third. No, that's a bait and switch. They can call it whatever they want to, but that is a bait and switch. And it's sad that they do that. Now, they are overall an excellent company. I haven't had no issues with my service at all. None, zero, or very limited. So from that standpoint, I got to give them kudos. I'm going to congratulate them on that. But I'm definitely going to talk to them about how they manipulate the understanding of those phones. Don't get caught up in that, because it's a bait and it's a switch. So sorry. But hey, the truth be told, and I'm here to tell the truth. I'm here to tell the truth. Bottom line. All right, so building generational wealth. Step to start today. So steps to start today. How do you build that wealth over a course of a certain period of time? All right, how do you make sure that that wealth is going to outlive and outlast you? All right, so you want to start small. Start small. You want to build daily. You want to stay consistent. Generational wealth is built on discipline, strategy, and patience. Okay, it's not making millions overnight. It's about leaving millions behind. That's another good one. There's some gems in here today, folks. And as I say all the time, if you want these PowerPoints, I'd be more than happy to send them to you. Just let me know, because I believe that you should be equally exercising these understandings within your own household as well. Starting off young and working all the way up to the area of your seniors, the individuals who might be thinking, oh, I'm too old to learn this stuff. I'm too old to do this stuff. You are not too old. Okay, so stop telling yourself that. You're not too old to learn how to do this stuff at all. It's going to help you. Plus, it's going to allow for you to say, wow, imagine if I did this earlier. So then it gives you a responsibility to make sure that you're giving it to the youth who can then take that time that they have to learn the things that you at a nice age have also started to learn. All right. Rich versus poor thinking. Poor people think I can afford it. Wealthy people ask, how can I afford it? Again, gems. These are gems, folks. Wealthy people ask, how can I afford it? When poor people think I can afford it. Scarcity versus abundance. Switching your mindset and you switch your outcome. Wow. Switch your mindset and you switch your outcome. That is another one of those that I think we need to put that on a big billboard and fly that one around. You know, those airplanes that fly around with the signs on it? Yes. Switch your mindset and you switch your outcome. Beautiful. Love that one. But ladies and gentlemen, again, what we're going through, what we're telling you, what we're showing you in this particular boot camp, I'm hoping that you are taking notes. I'm hoping that you will start to apply it. And if not, please come back for more. We are at the library here in Yonkers. We are at our new space, which is 86 Main Street. We are doing so many great things for our community and our neighboring communities as well. So why not branch that or move that out into the state? Why not branch that out and move it into all states? Why not make financial literacy not just the month of April, why not extend financial literacy all the way through this entire year of 2025? And let's see how many people become financially literate by the time we get into 2026. That's my goal for our understanding. So again, day trading, deeper dive, bonus. All right, you may not understand it. You may think whatever you may think about it, but I'm telling you right now, day trading is a learned skill, not gambling. All right, learn technical analysis, study the market, practice. Financial freedom loves discipline. Say that one more time. Financial freedom loves discipline. And the markets are about discipline. You're not disciplined, you're gambling. But if you learn this skill, as I said, basketball, football, soccer, baseball, hockey, you name the exercise, you name the skill, you still have to get good at it. And the only way to get good at it is you have to practice. I can keep going on and on and on and on and on. Right? But you got to learn the technical. You have to study. And then you have to practice. Learn, study, practice. Learn, study, practice. Learn, study, practice. That seems like something that is consistent. Learn, study, practice. All right, so final takeaways. Key points. Master money equals master life. Just that, it's again, need I say more? Master money equals a master life. Just that simple. You do that part of it. You master how your money works. Your life will work exactly in the manner in which you have mastered it to work. Or you can continue to keep riding that ebbs and flows. You continue to keep navigating the spaces where you believe that you're not even available or privy to be in those spaces. But you got to decide what you want to do. You got to decide at some point, when do you start? Because procrastination, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it next month. Oh, I'll do it whenever the time is right. Well, when is the time going to be right? Another pandemic? When is the time going to be right for the individual who's in that White House, which has multiple times indicated that he's going to run a third time? I don't think the Constitution is going to allow that. And I don't think smart people like myself are so equally going to sit by and allow that as well. But nevertheless, that's a civics conversation that we will be having on this financial channel as well, because both of these things tie in, connected. Those are those connected tissues that we need to make sure that we understand as well. So a motivational quote. You are the architect of your legacy. You. If you want what you want, then you have to do what you haven't done. All right. You're the architect. Build that structure. Make sure, again, you have a solid foundation before you start erecting those walls, before you start putting on that roof. Make sure you have a solid, and that solid foundation starts with your financial understanding, becoming financially literate. That's where that solid foundation comes from. And then you're going to add those financial components that allow for those walls to be erected. Then you're going to add some more financial components and other skill sets that's going to allow for you to put that nice roof on there. And then you have that house that you're going to now maintain, and you're going to add other rooms, and over time you might extend it or build out on it. But make sure you understand you are the architect of your legacy. All right, so your future starts now. Your future starts now. The best investment you'll ever make is in yourself. That's something that I've been told numerous times, over and 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 over. Your best investment you'll ever make is in yourself. So you have to start learning what others are doing when it comes to your money. You have to start learning what others are doing when it comes to your returns. There's no getting around or navigating that space with any soft glove approach. You have to know when you give someone money that you should be getting back a great return on that money. Because I can tell you right now, they're making major returns off of your money. Trust me when I tell you. And ladies and gentlemen, there's more of us than them. We just do not possess the skills. And once we do, the one thing that scares a lot of rich people is us, marginalized communities, marginalized, neglected individuals becoming successful, becoming educated, becoming savvy and smart and wise when it comes to money. That terrifies a lot of people who already have money because they don't think we're worthy. They don't think that we're privy to this information. But I'm going to tell every marginalized group out there, every 7-year-old, all the way up to a senior, you are not just worthy. This is something that was etched in stone in our Constitution: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Some of that has not happened yet. And I'm guaranteeing that if you do your part, I will be here. My youth advocates will be here. Our community that we're creating will be here. We're going to do what we need to do to make sure that the marginalized not only have a voice, but also have a chair for that table. And if that table is already occupied, we're going to build our own. It's just that simple. I love the fact that Reverend Al said something, and it was during a tragic moment in our history. Well, he said that we don't need them. We just need them to get up off our necks. And that's the truth. We don't need rich folks. We don't need them. They need us more than they think that they don't need us. But we do need them to get up off our necks. And if they do, oh my goodness. It's not about retribution, as Mr. Individual in the White House talks about. This is about us taking back control. That's all it is. Putting back into our space, our hands, the understanding that has already been there. I talked about Black Wall Street, 1921. That wasn't the only Black Wall Street. We had multiple Black Wall Streets, multiple. And where did they end up going? Well, the envy, the jealousy, torn down, burnt down, destroyed. All for what? To watch our wealth now put into the hands of others. We're talking about trillions of dollars over our lifetimes. Trillions in the hands of somebody else. What goes into the stock market literally comes back out of the stock market. The question is, who's it really going to? Yes, got to learn these things, people. We got to learn these things, because the more you learn, the more you understand, the more you grow. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, you can find us. How to stay connected. We can stay connected on our Discord. You can stay connected with us on a variety of different other social media spaces and places. We got Discord. We have Substack. Obviously, this is Facebook and Meta. We got Tumblr, Instagram, TikTok, X, as well as YouTube. And there's a couple of others that I don't have on here. That Blue Sky. There's something called Thread. We are doing what we need to be doing to make sure that we are out there on a variety of different platforms. We are in the process of building out our brand new 2 websites. So Leverage Credit Recovery will have a new website along with Yonkers Young Entrepreneurs, which is our brand new nonprofit organization, which I am super excited about, because it allows for me to do what I've already committed myself to doing, which is making sure our youth of color in marginalized communities have the same opportunity as youth in affluent areas. We will not ever leave our youth behind, ever leave our youth at the whims of what is going on in this society. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart from the bottom of my soul to the top of my head. I always want to thank you for making time and allowing me to do what I do best, which is give you that information. So drop us the line if you need to get connected. Telephone number is 805-428-9424. The email is leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. And we use now this link tree, which is amazing because it allows for us to put a variety of different things on this link tree. And it is super, super cool. So link tr.ee/leverage credit recovery. Wow. Did it, y'all. I did it. I went through it, made it happen. I love these Tuesdays. I love shows like this. I love being able to put out into the world the things that I already know that you are going to need to have a successful understanding about what your financial situation could look like. Could look like if you do the work. And all I'm here to do is make sure that you have the tools, the resources, the knowledge, the skills to be able to. So before I leave here, please make sure you mark down May 17th on that calendar at 12 noon right here in Yonkers, New York. We want you to pull up. Make sure you also equally on Thursdays. I got to give a shout out to Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse, because last week's show with that young lady and every single show that she does, it was amazing. I encourage everybody to go back and look at that last week's show of Access Wealth Nation and tune into all of the amazing programming that is here on Soul City Network. As always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Be safe in your travels. Be safe in your comings and goings. And as always, be safe.